about 6:45. Can't even lie. That shit don't rhyme. I ain't Chris Smooth. But I keep seeing these rumors and shit. Right, I know the Lakers is ass, and that's a whole nother topic, right? They ain't ass, but they ass when it's a time to beat a team that actually worth something. Right. I keep seeing this conversation of LeBron James potentially be joining the Cavaliers to cap off his career, right? I got a few thoughts on that, right? No. It'll be great to see LeBron finish everything off. I think next year will be his year 24. A conclusion in Cleveland would be nice. I wouldn't even be mad seeing him retire this year. Solely not because I don't love LeBron, man. He's my favorite player of all time, but I'm tired of seeing this motherfucker on teams that's not true contenders. I know he hasn't prioritized winning in his later stages of his career. He's prioritized family and lifestyle. At least from the outside, that's how it appears, being on the Lakers. Right, and we kind of knew that from day one when he came to LA. Yeah, he looked up and got AD. But come on, man. Going to the Lakers in 2019 with weak-ass Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and fucking Julius Randle, soft-ass. Like, what the fuck was he ever going to win with that? Alright. Anyways, we go to Cleveland. Number one, right? If he goes to Cleveland, one or two things are going to happen, right? Either A, he's going to have to come off the bench, or B, Mobley or Jared Allen is going to have to come off the bench. There's no way in hell at this point in his career LeBron James can run the small forward position. Especially if you're talking about a lineup consisting of, I'm just making assumptions. Let's just say, hypothetical world, he comes on the minimum or mid-level, right? You talking Mitchell, James Harden, Bron, Mobley, and Jared Allen? Boy, every motherfucker breathing is going to blow past that fucking backcourt. And then LeBron at the three is a nightmare. You're almost recreating the same problem the Lakers have with the Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron trio. Although I will say Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are much better defenders, but it's going to be hard to suppress that, right? And I don't know how realistic of a fit James Harden is, right? Because I'm assuming Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley are sort of untouchable, right? I think you kind of have some flexibility with Jared Allen and James Harden. I don't know how that fit will work. I can see some hypothetical world where, hey, you do a sign and trade to free up some cap space. You throw in Jared Allen. You know, LeBron takes a pay cut. And maybe they also give you, I don't know, maybe you throw in Jared Allen. And I don't really know their other contracts right now at the top of my head, money-wise. But maybe you get back LeBron and they throw in Ayton. I don't know. Get Ayton off the fucking Lakers. I'm sure they don't want him. That, he'll be an expiring contract. He'll be a backup big. I could see something like that. Right. But LeBron at the three, it just isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. This motherfucker don't play defense until the fourth quarter of the playoffs. If it ain't that, he ain't fucking guarding shit. James Harden never plays defense. Right. Unless he's up in the playoff series. He might try. But ironically, as a shooting guard, James Harden's best defensive placement is really in the post. He's a quality post defender, but motherfucker, this ain't the 80s. You know what I'm saying? We don't got Michael Jordan posting up at the elbow no more, right? We got motherfuckers like Shea who push off and try to draw a foul every fucking play, bitch ass. But yeah, that's number one. Otherwise, I like the idea. Two, like I said, I don't know the James Harden fit. One of them motherfuckers gonna have to go, either Harden or Allen. It's almost like you like the James Harden, but then I just can't get with that backcourt defense. I would almost rather like a Keon Ellis start, but James Harden ain't gonna come off the bench. He ain't gonna come off the bench. You almost need like a Derek White or a DeJounte Murray or a Drew Holiday as that complimentary guard to Donovan Mitchell. Right? You did some hypothetical world like that. Let's say, now I don't know why the hell James Harden would ever sign with Portland, but let's say you pull off a deal for Drew Holiday. Now you cooking with some grease. You know what I'm saying? You got Mitchell, you got Holiday, Bron. I don't know who your other guy would be. Maybe Tyson. Got some hustle and defense. Or maybe you swap Harden for a wing, a 3-and-D wing, which every motherfucking team wants. And there's not a lot of them available. So that's always harder to do and much easier to theorize, right? But maybe you get a 3-and-D wing, or maybe you get an all-around wing that can do a little bit of everything, right? Realistically, I don't know. I can't think of somebody realistically that you would be able to get. Now, some crazy alternate universe, Kawhi gets his contract voided. Oh yeah, he's the perfect type of guy. Right? If you could somehow, it'll never work, but if you could somehow, whatever, let Harden walk, pay Kawhi, get Bron on the mid-level, right? Or trade, a sign and trade, you know, they send LeBron and Ayton for Jared Allen. Make the money work somehow. LeBron, you gotta take less. And then you start Keon Ellis. That's a wonderful lineup. I mean, you got the Donovan Mitchell, Keon Ellis, Bron, Kawhi, Evan Mobley, bring Ayton off the bench. You know what I'm saying? You got a nice start. Obviously, you got to fill in. Like I said, you know, maybe they do something with Tyson. You know, shit like that, but we'll see. You know, but also for all my Bron fans, man, imagine how different this shit will look if he truly prioritized just winning, like in that 2019 decision, right? Because at that time, I remember, like, on some bullshit, I used to play 2K My League, and I used to always want him to go to the Rockets. It just made so much sense from a purely basketball perspective, not from a you know, lifestyle or fit of personalities. But man, to have Bron there, you got James Harden, who is Kyrie Irving on crack, as far as, you know, how he'll play off of LeBron. And then you got the point guard in Chris Paul. I mean, ooh-wee, that would have made some, oh my God, that would have been such, oh shit. That would have been such a great team. I mean, CP3, James Harden, Bron, you would have had PJ. And I know probably the salaries wouldn't have worked, but a man could dream, right? You literally give Bron a great ISO scorer. Right? You look at what he has had the most success with. is being surrounded by another guy that can be a primary scorer, shooters, and defense, right? And then bonus if you get a guy that can be a secondary playmaker or even a primary on some nights, right? Right. When you see him have success with Kyrie could be a secondary playmaker. Kyrie could be a primary scorer, right? And then you had the J.R. Smiths giving you shooting, Iman Shumpert giving you 3 and D. Tristan Thompson was mostly giving you just offensive rebounds, but he was a great role player. Timothy Mozgov gave you rim protection, right? Richard Jefferson was an old role player that gave you 3 and D, right? You look at the Miami Heat. We know what Dwayne Wade was. Chris Bosh, amazing. I don't even want to say 3 and D because I feel like that suppresses how good he was. But conceptually, how he fit into that team, yes, he was a 3 and D player on crack, right? Birdman, great rim protector, great energy, very similar to what a Tristan Thompson provided, right? Maybe not as good as an offensive rebounder, but conceptually, right? Norris Cole, 3 and D. Ray Allen and Mike Miller were sharpshooters. Shane Battier, 3 and D, right? You even look at the Lakers. Anthony Davis was capable of being that primary scorer. He was also a defensive player of the year, quality player. Dwight Howard gave you that rim protection. He gave you that rebounding, right? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green, great 3 and D players. Even Kuzma, to an extent, was a great 3 and D. To an extent, was a solid 3 and D player. Right, can almost be that third scorer too, similar to what Chris Bosh could give you. Obviously, Chris Bosh shits on Kuzma, but conceptually, right? And then a lot of people forget about the impact of a Rajon Rondo, who, as good as a secondary playmaker as you can get, right? Even though he wasn't in the bubble, even Avery Bradley was a great 3 and D guy. And it's ironic because the Lakers really accidentally, right, because they desired to get Kawhi Leonard, they accidentally created the blueprint for what teams in the 2020s are trying to replicate, right? That 2019 Lakers was that first team that really went back to that 2-star motto and filled them with a bunch of quality supporting pieces. Every team is trying to do that shit now. Right? What are the Denver Nuggets trying to do? Michael Porter, get your ass out of here. Let's surround Jokic and Murray with as many 3 and D quality pieces as possible. You know what I'm saying? Quality role players. Depth. How did the Mavericks make the finals, right? That's how their team was built. Even the Boston Celtics, right? Tatum and Brown, they put as much depth around them as possible. The Thunder, Shea and J-Dub. Chet is not a fucking real all-star yet. He is a high-end role player. Let's just be honest. Now, I think he's like right there at low-level all-star. But as of right now, right? But we've seen them put Hartenstein and all the great role players they have, the Wiggins, and now the McCains of the world, and Topic is finally getting some reps. The Carusos and Dorts, right? Anyways, so I think that imaginary lineup would satisfy that for Cleveland. And I think LA has the potential to do it as well. The problem is you're going to have to pick between Luka's timeline or Bron's timeline. In a sense of, for Luka timeline, it makes sense to keep Austin Reeves because you could surround Luka and Austin Reeves with 3-and-D guys, and you're off to the races. But you can't have LeBron there. But if you surrounded Luka and Bron with 3-and-D guys, you're still off to the races. If you swap Austin Reeves, and let's say you get Derek White. Yes, Austin Reeves is a better player, but Derek White is the better fit. Right? But it's the same thing the other way. If you swap LeBron for Jared Allen, that is a much better fit around Luka and Austin, which at this point makes more sense for the Lakers to build around, because not only is Austin cheaper than LeBron, or he will be cheaper than LeBron next year, you know, than that full, whatever, 24-year max, whatever the fuck, the super max, right? Whatever that shit is, it's cheaper, but he's younger. He's younger, so this is what it is. It's business, man. But, man, just my random thoughts for the day. I gotta get more consistent. Also gotta get my quality up. I gotta invest into this shit, but just random thoughts of the day, man. Come back with some more, man. Y'all be easy.